We're trying to introduce a more crafty, culinary and deeper side of Vietnamese food. Not one that is just limited to the street, but something more modern, innovative and inventive.
Wow, it's so good!
So you know how you have salted caramel? We use, instead of the salt, a fish sauce in the dessert. I'm Jovel Chan, foodie at large, Singaporean at heart. I came to Saigon in 2020 to start my own spin studio. Today, I curate one-of-a-kind food and drink experiences. So we are now at Saigon Social, and this is a space that I opened right in the heart of the city center just about a year ago. Over here, we spotlight more than 40-50 different Vietnamese food and drink artisans. There are not many stores that allow a lot of these smaller makers to showcase and promote themselves. One of the reasons I really wanted to open this space was to create accessibility and education. Vietnamese people buy fish sauce based on number. The higher the number, the darker the color. The darker the fermentation, the longer, the higher the protein, the nitrogen. The magic word we're looking for is very umami. How many of you guys cook with fish sauce at home? Okay, whoa! So this is our Vietnamese craft fish sauce tasting.
That's nice.
When I sit down with people from different countries, I try to help them understand how Vietnamese, let's say, coffee culture or tea culture is either similar or different to what they might experience at home, to make it relatable to them. I do this together with an amazing team. Winnie, we are missing 2 of these for the other side.
1 pair or 1 pair?
1 Arabica and 1 Robusta, please. Saigon Social is the home of the Saigon Supper Club, a community of food-loving friends where our makers, our chefs, our bartenders, and everybody could come together and find a home. So I launched Saigon Supper Club on the rooftop of my apartment. And 2 years later, we have 500 to 600 people in a database. We do so much, it's crazy, I get so tired. It's like Saigon 2 social sometimes.
So this is using Vietnamese calamansi and lemongrass.
Oh
Chunky.
my gosh,
Because
smells so spicy.
Well, you said you wanted spicy.
I do. So today we're at Chef Kenji's house, and as part of Saigon Supper Club, what I'm always on the hunt for is interesting cuisines to showcase how Vietnamese cuisine and ingredients can be appreciated in so many different ways. As you can see, we've got a bunch of fermentation. All recipes from this fermentation expert and his book.
These are all either using Vietnamese produce inspired by Vietnamese pickles or ferments. This is banh mi miso. So this is daikon that's been dehydrated. And then it's essentially pickled in fish sauce.
Ooh.
This is a tet pickle, commonly eaten during Lunar New
This is
Year.
daikon.
Daikon, yeah.
Oh my god, what? It's so good!
What can we cook for this supper club experience? There's like 500 of them, and I would love to show them how else fermentation and pickling can be in a more culinary food way.
So we're gonna be making a fritter using these pickled mustard greens. Honestly, this is seen all throughout Southeast and East Asia too, so it's quite a kind of universal Asian pickle.
I'm a big fan. I've been here for 5 years writing about food. When I first moved here, I actually wanted to open up a cycling studio, but things didn't happen because of COVID. So yeah, what else to do than to write a food vlog? Through food, I really was able to understand the country a little bit more. In Vietnam, the access to ingredients allows for a very diverse and high quality product. It makes what I do so exciting. Every day, we get to discover new things, and I continue to be in awe.
And let's really lean into Vietnamese flavors and throw in some fish sauce for not just salt, but also umami.
Yeah.
Great fish.
Gotta do something like this.
You know, like nuc cham?
Wow. Okay, but again, that's the beauty of this collaboration, right? We're really chatting about flavors, what works well. Cheers.
Cheers. You know what? You're right. We need to add shrimp into this.
So let's add some shrimp next time for the supper club.
I'm actually going to go and run some errands right now. Why don't you guys come with me? A lot of what I do is very, very social. I'm constantly meeting new people. So it's really nice to live outside the city. So I've lived away from Singapore since I was 18. So it's been about 15 years. Vietnam, it might be my 8th country. In every country that I moved to, I always knew how to find friends and find things that I wanted.
Excuse me, sorry.
And I think one thing I'm very good at that might not be a very Singaporean thing to do is I'm very like buay paiseh one. Bông cay à, bông cay. Cái này bông cay. Hello, hello. Oh my gosh, I definitely don't speak as much Vietnamese as I should. Ăn bao nhiêu hả?
28 nha.
28 á? Trừng Hoàng á? Có QR không? I want to speak Vietnamese to be closer to my team and the people that we work with. I think that's very, very helpful. The layer that I often feel is missing is the cultural side of food. There was always a challenge on how to position or how to write about certain things with respect. And what I try to bring in storytelling is why Vietnam eats the way it eats. But increasingly, when I get more and more Vietnamese readers, I get more confidence to approach a lot more topics.
So on the easier days when I'm a little bit less busy, I really like to make a cup of coffee. There is something quite, ceremonial and quite nice and ritualistic when we make Vietnamese coffee. It allows me to be very present and slow down a little bit.
Finally. So nice. So my husband moved to Singapore in August. We met in Vietnam 4.5 years ago. He moved into my apartment during COVID after 3 dates and never moved out. So I think that's a good sign to get married. How's your day?
It's okay, dear.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I had a super, super tiring day that is still going on.
How come?
I think I'm adjusted well, but obviously it's hard to have a long distance relationship.
Okay, bye. Bye-bye. I have a very close group of Singaporean friends. They are my very close and good support system. Hey, you boil the front or you fry the front?
Huh?
For the laksa.
Boil one. But if you fry, got more flavor also.
Look at it, it looks great. Javian is my next door neighbor. We've been friends for a very long time. He found me this apartment next to him.
Yes, it's like dragging the kampong spirit with you.
I think quality of life increases, improves tenfold with your community around you.
True. After 5 years, Saigon definitely feels like home. However, I miss my friends and family, of course, but thankfully, home sometimes comes to me.
Jovel Chan.
Hi, Ma.
Hi, Jovel. So may I know when is Nick's family coming to Singapore for the wedding? May I know?
Yes, soon.
You always say that.
Usually when your parents come and visit you, right, you expect that they will cook for you. But my parents are such big foodies like me, so they always make me take them to my favorite spot. So this place is actually a newly opened modern Vietnamese restaurant helmed by a very talented young Vietnamese chef. The reason I wanted to bring my mom here is because spotlighting modern Vietnamese cuisine and young talent here is so tied to what I do. So this one is the pho tart. The noodle is the tart.
Wow, it's not very heavy at all. I love it. A very different level of taste, I have to say that.
When you do elevated versions of pho, right, I think you always compare it.
When I tasted this, there's no comparison. I have to congratulate the chef for being very creative.
Vietnamese cuisine doesn't look a certain way all the time. There are so many different dimensions and so many ways the flavors can come to life.
My husband and I have always believed that our children should be allowed to make decisions in their career, in their education. We encourage them to be brave, to undertake new ventures, new career path, wherever they want to do.
They really, really have been very, very supportive. When you go from a blogger into a business owner, it can be a little bit of an identity crisis. And as the business grows, it becomes more corporate. I'm not blogging as much anymore, which makes me quite sad. But when I show up and I see the people and we see the mission of the blog translated in different ways, I know that we're doing the right thing.